How do I close more sales? That is today's question. My name is Joey Thomas, entrepreneur and small business educator with 17 hats. Today, we are talking about selling. Now, to sell. That's a seemingly ugly four-letter word that creates tons of anxiety in small business owners everywhere. It's kind of gross, right? Just the word sell. It comes off as a little sleazy, inauthentic, and manipulative. But it doesn't have to be. That's the general feeling that many get when they think about selling their services or products. You get that immediate picture of the car salesman in a cheap suit wearing cheap cologne, fast talking his way into stealing your money. Now, the simplest definition of the word sell is to give or hand over something in exchange for money. Now, that doesn't have to be sleazy or inauthentic. It doesn't. And now, another definition is to persuade someone the merits of something that you're offering. Now, let's look at another word instead. Maybe if we can change the perception of the word in our mind, we are not so averse to the topic of selling. Now, in contrast, the word serve is defined as to furnish or supply with something needed or desired. I'm going to say that again. The word serve is defined as to furnish or supply with something needed or desired. When a client has a problem and they come to you, our job is to fill that need, that void, with something they desire. Now, when you serve, it is welcomed, it's appreciated and reciprocated. It's all about your client, their need, their want, and how it benefits their lives. But when you sell, there's that four-letter word again. It's a transaction, a simple exchange of goods or services for money. It's focused squarely on the features of the service or the product. Now, the faster you can bridge the gap between their problem and your solution while authentically serving your client's needs, the higher the chances of closing the sale. Let's discuss just 3 thoughts and ideas around how to better serve your clients and close sales. You ready? Okay, number 1. First of all, we have to understand the difference between price and cost. This will help us frame the whole experience for the clients. Now, price is something you pay versus cost being something you absorb. Price is one time. Now, the cost could be a lot bigger than the price itself. See, the price is just an initial number. It's the exchange that takes place just to secure your services or get a product into your hands, right? The price of a car, for example. But the cost of ownership is quite different. So, does the client understand that the cost of using an inferior service or a service that doesn't fit their needs? Do they understand what more it's going to cost them if they don't use you? Do they understand the additional time, the headaches, the energy, and the stress it could cost them if they went somewhere else? Better yet, do they understand how much value your price is when they consider the true cost of going elsewhere? Better yet, do they understand how much value there is in your price when they consider the true cost of going elsewhere? So let's understand that time is a cost. It's a cost to you and a cost to the client. So how much time a service is going to take and how much time it's going to take them to utilize your services or your product makes a significant difference. Now, we work with very, very busy people, and the last thing they want is for a long, drawn-out experience, or worse yet, have unclear expectations of what you have agreed upon. So There is a concept called time to value. That's how long before you deliver on your promise and they get what they pay for or what they hope for. So clarifying that time to value is key. So they have to know what the extent of the relationship is going to be and how quickly they can get the value that you're promising. Secondly, effort is also a cost. Now, how much effort it is to you and how much effort it's going to take the client to utilize your services or to receive the service. It's the energy, right, that they will use in order to even use your services. For example, how difficult is it for them to schedule an appointment with you? Now, I personally experienced this as I was looking for a web designer. I sent out messages to several web designers and I got quite a few different responses. Now, let me say this. Some of them didn't respond at all. Some made me go through 10 different steps before I could even get on the phone, while others, it was so quick, so easy. There was a scheduling button, I schedule a time, and then boom, I got on the phone. Those were the people that I had meaningful conversations with, and most likely the ones I will end up hiring for the service that I want. Okay, secondly, is it taking too much effort just to receive invoices? How complicated is it to receive invoices, contracts, or quotes? Once I'm in that process with people, am I having to download a PDF and then open a PDF in another software or program? Am I having to save a PDF to my computer, print it out, sign it, scan it, and send it back? If it's complicated, it creates some tension in the relationship and therefore making the sale a little bit more difficult. Now, effort is a huge mental cost. Make it as easy as possible for your clients to secure your services and interact with your company. I know here at 70 Hats, we want to make it incredibly simple to send invoices and to accept quotes or to sign contracts, even to schedule appointments and correspond with your clients. That's why we exist, to turn your chaos into something much more simple and manageable for you and your client. Now, if you can simplify that process, that in itself adds so much perceived value to your brand. The higher your value in their minds, the easier for them to go from prospect to client. Now, you don't want to add additional stress to the clients, especially before they pay, because that could absolutely block the sale. Okay, now number 2, I want you to build trust. They have to trust that you will deliver. Okay, trust develops as you connect and develop a relationship with your leads. The more you set expectations and clarify the client experience, the more that they will trust that you're going to deliver on your promise. Don't ever let your clients ask you what's next. Let's do our best to get ahead of that question, ease their concerns, and clarify the path to success. That's why I like to automate some of the process. So let's say, for example, if a lead comes in, and if they sign the contract, I like to automate a message that comes right after the contract, maybe a day, so that they know what's coming next, or maybe even in the next few hours. That way, they don't have to ask me and sit around waiting and now also losing that connection that they initially have for you, right? So as you communicate, confusion tends to disappear. And as confusion disappears, trust grows and doubts diminish. So build trust. And number 3, I want you, and this is really important, guys, I want you in your conversations with your clients to focus on benefits and not just features. For example, a photographer can list the quality of the leather and the binding and the paper on the albums that they offer. That is just listing the features. But why do those features even matter? What benefit does it have for the client? So in thinking about how you communicate, now I want you to consider that the quality of the paper and the binding and the leather, it all allows the client to experience the product better, and it has some meaning. For example, it allows their family to pass down that book that you created through the generations. It could take a beating and still hold it together. That is the benefit. I like, if you were to paint a picture of great-great-grandkids going up in the attic, and we've seen this in movies, they're dusting off an old album, and it opens up and they get to experience the images from their great-great-grandparents, right? What if you opened the album and the pages fell apart? Then it's no good to them. But the reason you would tell them about the features, it's because of the benefit. Make sure to drive home the meaning. All right, so let me give you another example. Let's say you're a knife maker. I can tell you, I'm a knife maker. I'm going to tell you that I'm using Japanese steel with a certain amount of carbon. Why does that even matter? I could tell you that I'm using a special polymer for the handle and how special and unique that it is. But why should you care? Instead of just talking about the type of steel, it would serve my clients better if I were to share how that steel will keep its edge longer, or how it's easier to even bring it to an edge. Right? It actually makes their life easier and simpler. Instead of just telling you about the special polymer handle, I can share with how it helps you with your grip, or the ease of cleaning and the longevity of the material. So, when you focus on benefits, your listener can now put themselves into the situation and they begin to care. They begin to understand what really matters. So let me go back over the 3 areas that I believe that if you were to focus on and understand, that this would help you close sales. Understand the difference between price and cost. Price is just the number that they give you for the exchange of goods. The cost is the effort and the time, the headache, all of the things that if they were to use someone else, the cost might be a lot more. So make sure to communicate what that cost would be, how easy it is, your time to value, and how soon you can deliver on your promise. Number 2, I talked about building trust, because as you build trust, confusion and doubts disappear, which will lead to better sales. And number 3, focus on benefits and not just features, because benefits are what drives value and meaning to a client and not just the features. How, why, what does it mean to them? Why does it hold meaning to them? Why will it benefit them in their lives? That is something that you really want to communicate, because as you do that, they make it personal. Now they can see themselves using the product or your service. Now, I hope these 3 tips will help you on your way to closing at a higher rate. Now, sales is a really loaded subject, and I love it. But there's so many facets that we can create hundreds of videos around the subject. Mostly, I want you to remember that if you sincerely want to serve your client, it never should feel like a sale to either side. You are simply offering a solution to their problem. Authentically offer value at every turn. Have a real need to solve their problems and communicate your solutions in ways that have meaning. I hope those 3 tips will help you guys to better closings, better sales. And again, my name is Joey. Thank you for hanging out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And I'll be back with many more business topics that can help you thrive. Thank you again.